Sometimes things we own unexpectedly become mementos. I want to share with you one of mine, and heads up, it might be a little intense. What is a memento, first of all? Oxford Dictionary defines it as an object kept as a reminder of a person or event. And if you'll allow me, I'll stretch that just a little bit to include feelings and memories. Maybe focus on the more abstract and less of a concrete point in time. This, well, typically not what you would consider a memento, photograph, letter, postcard maybe, or tchotchke bought at a gift shop on vacation, certainly does commemorate an abstract feeling, a sense of a point in time in my life. A mummified mouse is not typically something you would consider a memento as well, because it is not traditionally pleasant. It doesn't have the qualities of a fun t-shirt or a delicate looking snow globe. The mouse in the jar is quite ugly. Fascinating, but ugly. However, what this has that something that maybe could be purchased as a memento has is a personal connection to it. It has a context that only I can provide to it. What I mean by this is, this object, without me, is little more than a mummified mammal in a cherry jar. I, however, having owned this for 20 years, have provided context to it by carrying it through my life, carrying it with me from city to city, state to state. I've provided context to it by thinking about who it was that gave it to me, who it was that I've talked to about it, the conversations that I've had about it, the people who have been repulsed by it, the ways that I've used it as a gauge of sorts on people's personalities. My dad gave this to me whenever I was 12 years old, and if I were simply being nostalgic, I could think back to playing Super Star Wars or listening to Coal Chamber and Smashing Pumpkins CDs. If I were simply wanting to be nostalgic, I could think back and maybe even erase some of the memories of the time that were less pleasant and think only about my friends and the things that I enjoyed doing when I was 12. This, however, in the context that it has with me, is more honest, both intellectually and emotionally. It requires me to think about the less pleasant memories, the painful memories even, the loneliness, the hours that I spent wondering what kind of person I was, trying to figure out who I would be. Whenever I was 12, I didn't have that context yet that I do now, or hope that I have now. Whenever I was 12, my dad gave this to me, it was a fascination. He knew that I was fascinated by dead, creepy, crawly things. I had spiders and grubs and worms and other similar things in jars, and he knew that I would like this. 12-year-old me did like this, for the same reasons that 12-year-old liked other dead things. There were decorations, almost a way of defining myself by the things that I surrounded myself with. And for most of my life, up until maybe the past few years, this was probably true. The context that I have now with it, however, is that a dad, closer to the age that I am now than I was when it was given to me, was maybe trying to find a way to make more concrete or anchor a relationship with his son. Relationships with teenagers is always difficult. And I can look at it now and say, this was an act of him trying to get closer, something that he could share with me, something that the two of us could have together, something that we could discuss maybe. Though I don't think that we have ever really talked about this. So maybe it was just a passing fascination for him. I'm not certain. Often these sorts of things gain their meaning and become the surprising mementos that they are with change. These could be changes in life, like growing up over the years, or maybe moving away from home, or moving to a new city. Maybe they become meaningful and surprise us at the loss of a loved one. Maybe things that were once mundane and regular surprise us and unexpectedly become these great cherished bundle of memories that we can hold and touch. Often with that change is loss. You can look back and with these sorts of things remember how things were for better or for worse. We can ponder who we were, who the people we knew were. This, though my father is still alive, and hopefully will be for many years, has taken on such important meaning to me, unexpectedly, slowly. It has gathered a meaning to it that I never would have foreseen. Whenever he does pass away, hopefully many years from now, this will gain an even higher level of meaning. This will gain even more of a context to me that is mine, that can only be held by me. The context that it has now, though it has been shared with people, is largely mine. But someday, the person who gave this to me won't be here anymore. It'll be just mine. I think oftentimes in life, we resist the willingness to be vulnerable, to be empathetic or sympathetic. We resist, as I know I often did for years, the strong feeling to create memories, to cherish these small things, these small moments we have with people. It wasn't until very recently that I really began to examine some of these things personally, and I hope that you'll be willing to be surprised, that you'll be vulnerable enough, that you'll let yourself relax enough or be yourself enough to be surprised. Be willing to be struck by memories. Thank you. That got heavy.